I've said it before and I'll say it again, but the SEO space, the search engine optimization space is changing, y'all. And today I wanted to offer some practical guidance on how you should be thinking about SEO in the short term and the long term. I have three distinct that you should be looking at as far as how AI is going to impact SEO and what you should be doing about it now if showing up on the search engines is something that matters for your business or should matter to your business. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Welcome back to the AI Driven Marketer. I'm Dan Sanchez, and before we dive into it, I just wanted to review what we've talked about on previous episodes with a new chart that came out this week from Rand Fishkin. And I'm going to be sharing my screen here for all you audio listeners, but I'll be talking through it, of course. But Rand Fishkin is like one of the OGs of search engine optimization, of SEO, when he's the founder of Moz, a big SEO software company, and has moved on to start a new company called Toro, and still monitors search in Google and has been a big critic of Google's for the longest since I can remember. But he shared this cross-platform share of search report coming from data he scraped from a number of different sources, and there's some looseness to the data, but he's a pretty data-driven guy, so I trust this. Talking about the percentage of where people are searching online for answers, and of course Google still dominates. It's the biggest part of the pie. YouTube being second. We all know YouTube's the second biggest search engine, and there's a little sliver for Bing, right? But to kind of give you a perspective, Google still makes up 83% of search, which is less than it used to be. And YouTube is at 6.79%. Bing is only 1.97, so 2%. But ChatGPT is now making up over 4% of search, which remember was 0 just 2 years ago. And that's a big deal because that is a big sliver. It's going to pass up YouTube probably by this time next year, and that's got to be freaking Google out. And I've talked about what I've thought about Google and different things on past episodes, but I just wanted to start with this graph to show you, look, Rand Fishkin's got some evidence that this little sliver that is AI search is growing. This is something to consider because people, and I've been saying this on LinkedIn, people don't want websites when they're searching for something. They want an answer. And if AI is the best way of getting the answer, they will do it every time. People are not romantic about the way they get their answers. They were fans of the yellow pages until Google came along and replaced that with a better way of getting the answer. I think AI, I've noticed this in my own behavior as I've searched for more things. I'm going to ChatGPT first now for a lot of different things. How to fix this washer? What's wrong with my car? Should I be thinking about this problem? What's the answer to this one trivial fact that I want to know? I'm just going to ChatGPT over and over again. Now that it's baked better into Siri, I just ask Siri, and Siri goes and gets it from ChatGPT and delivers it up to me while I'm driving or have my hands busy with something. It's just becoming a normal part of my life. Now, if you're listening to this, you're probably like me. You're using AI more than the normal person. So you probably see some of this behavior changing in yourself too. But we're not alone. And the fact that Rand Fishkin put out this pie chart with ChatGPT making up over 4% of the total share of search market, it's there it is. It's starting to impact the world. And I expect that little black sliver on this pie chart will continue to grow year after year. It's not like Google's going to die completely or traditional search. There will probably be ways where people still want that. But imagine it's grown to 4% without ChatGPT even putting search as a dedicated feature in their product until recently. So this is pre them putting search in their product. Imagine how it's going to get when ChatGPT is actually searching the internet for you and pulling the few things that it couldn't just answer you itself. So I expect this to grow dramatically. And now before I get into what I'm doing about it and why you should maybe consider some of the routes that I'm taking for how to prepare as a marketer for SEO, I have to give a caveat. I have to give some backstory because I know the people who are into SEO, man, they really care a lot about data. They really care a lot about vigorous research to prove every single point they make. I am not that person. I am not the person. I'm a generalist. I dig pretty deep into most categories, but to the level of depth that people who speak on SEO do, I don't do that. I don't do the big research reports to validate empirically all the things that I'm going to be talking about. But I do want to say that I do have some serious experience in ranking and writing content and seeing success with search engine optimization. So let me go ahead and give you a quick little story just to put my SEO peers at rest. Like I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I don't do the deep research, but I have done a lot of SEO work. I have to share my screen again. So I'm going to walk through a little story here. About in maybe 2018, I discovered this group called Income School. If you haven't heard of them, they are a YouTube channel, but also a blog and a couple of social channels that were teaching people how to blog, but in a very unique way. Unlike most SEO practitioners out there, they were saying some very different things about how to rank on Google that really got me started on my real SEO journey. Because I'd read all the stuff from Rand Fishkin. I'd read like the textbooks written on SEO and the technical things about it. But I always read it and was like, it's not worth the time for me in order to do this because getting backlinks is just too big of a pain in the butt. But Income School came into my life and started showing me through all their YouTube videos, and eventually I paid for their $500 course, and it's honestly one of the best $500 I've ever spent. If you want to dig into SEO or like YouTube growth, highly recommend Income School. I am not paid by them. I'm not going to put affiliate links. I will put a link over to their website in case you want to check it out. I'm just saying it as someone who's gone through their course and has paid for it for years. Like, it's probably one of the best paid courses I've ever had because they continue to improve it and make it better. Anyway, so plug for them because well done. They stay on top of it. But they had some of the best stuff on ranking that made it, well, easier. And to rank a number of articles without doing any backlinking work. So I put it to the test. Actually, my whole website, Sanchez.com, didn't start as Sanchez.com. It started as vlogden.com because I was blogging about how to build home video studios. If you can't tell, I'm in a home video studio now, and I started my journey by blogging about it as I was learning about it. And still, some of my top ranking articles today are things like how to build a home video studio. I've even had friends ask me like, oh, they dug into how to build a video studio and were surprised when my blog came up, and they're like, oh, I know that guy. So I have some of the best content on the internet on how to build a home video studio. I've even built a whole course around it. So I started ranking for these things and then took it back to where I was working at the time, which was this Christian university, and SEO'd. I took a team of interns based on what I'd learned on my own personal site, and I started ranking and outranking things like Harvard Business Review and all kinds of different authoritative sites. I started outranking them based on what I'd learned from Income School, which the general premise was like, just write content that's 10x better than the top ranking articles, and you'll probably outrank them if you do enough of it. That's the short and simple answer. There's obviously a lot more to it. But I started doing that. I started writing the best content on the internet for a number of different keywords related to home video studios, and it freaking worked. My personal website today, I've kind of branched out from that topic, but I've written about thought leadership, marketing and all kinds of different topics now. And I rank for a number of competitive keywords, and I probably bring in about 20,000 page views a month just from organic search coming to my personal website. So that was a little test. I then scaled it with a team of about 5 students, and I taught them how to write articles the Income School way. And with our team of freshman students in this college, working about 15 hours a week apiece, we were putting out 10 to 20 articles a week. And we were writing so fast that we quickly ran out of topics to talk about for the niche topic that the university stood for. And that site grew to 100,000 page views a month in rankings for that one little private Christian school. We then started a whole new website called Just Disciple to kind of hit all topics related to Christianity. And we produced over a period of 2 years about 400-ish articles. And again, my little team of interns or students who didn't know anything about writing content were able to write hundreds and hundreds of articles. This site at its peak grew to about 500,000 page views a month in traffic coming to all kinds of different posts, from searching for Bible verses about X, prayers for this, what is this in the Bible, like all kinds of Christian topics we ranked for and then advertised the university for. So that was a big project, and I've done more since then, but this one's probably the biggest one that I still point back to today. And I did this all without backlinks, all without any really thing technical, just writing the best content we possibly could on these topics, very long, meaty articles. Again, I did this with a team of freshman students, and 4 of them were writers. One of them was an editor spot checking the other writers as they wrote and would go through and make sure they got published on time. And that was our little system for a long time on how I trained them to write based on what I learned from my personal blog, based on what I learned from income school. So with that in mind, that's kind of the perspective that I'm coming off of. I've then trained other companies and other writers on how to write in this style, and have helped other companies rank for a number of different keywords, even leveraging podcasts to create transcripts, to create blog posts, like all kinds of things. So I have some experience in SEO and how to rank sites and how to get a significant amount of traffic through search engine optimization. I understand how the game is played. I understand how it works. I've done all kinds of little link, and now I've done more link building and understand how that plays into the game too. So that's kind of the backstory. That's where I'm coming from. And I want to talk about how AI is changing, right? So AI is shifting to this whole AI-driven approach. And there's actually 3 different levels, if you will, of how AI is impacting SEO. And I've just pulled up this slide that just says, how is AI impacting SEO? I'm going to turn it into 3 different ways or approaches that I'm taking with SEO now that AI is impacting everything we do. So 3 different plans to consider. There is AI planning, AI content, and what I'm calling AI priming. So let's dive into all 3 of those. So let's start with AI planning. So if you're doing any SEO work, you should at least be using AI to help plan your articles. In fact, I made a custom GPT, I make a lot of those, to help you plan your SEO articles. And I use it to build substantial articles when I'm going to write them myself, and not before we get into the AI, how to use AI to write the content. If you're still writing it yourself as a writer or as a content expert or a subject matter expert, whatever, like you should at least be using AI to speed up your planning, because AI is exceptionally good at planning out the content. I actually created a GPT called Rank Attack, the SEO article planner, in order to help you not only outline your article, but to find who's currently ranking and how to create a competitive article that will outrank them. Yes, AI is very good at this. So let me show you a little bit about what this custom GPT does. I will put a link in the show notes if you want to have access to it. Again, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I will give this to you for free, and you can use it however you would like. But let me show you what this custom GPT does as a good example of how you could be leveraging AI in order to better plan your articles, because you're going to win or lose the SEO game based on your planning, not on your writing. It's based on how well you position the article across all the competition is the hardest part of SEO, in my opinion, of discerning what is currently written, what's missing, and what people are actually looking for in order for you to find that position in order to take over everybody else. And AI is very good at it. So let me show you how this custom GPT works, or the steps that it takes. First, you just click to get started. It asks you for the keyword you would like to rank for. For example, I'm going to pull this up on my screen here. I'm going to walk through this conversation, but say it out loud. I put in AI marketing strategy. That is a term I would like to rank for, as I want to become more and more known for AI marketing, right? So very popular thing people search for is an AI marketing strategy. It's not something I've currently written an article for, but I will soon based on this outline. Hopefully someone doesn't steal this from my video, but if you do, then I'll just find another angle and take over from it there, I guess. So it went and actually scraped the search engine. It uses Bing rather than a ChatGPT search, since that's still a little bit limited right now. It went and used Bing to search what is currently ranking for that. It doesn't really matter whether it's Bing or Google, but what the important part is it's taking a sampling of what is currently ranking for AI marketing strategy. And it went and found the usual suspects in MySpace, which is a big blog from HubSpot, AI and Digital Marketing, the Complete Guide by HubSpot, right? Coursera, Page, Otter.ai, DataCamp, and Gartner all have ranking articles. And it did some analysis. It goes and creates a summary of each one and then does analysis of what they're all talking about and what's currently missing. So it said these articles collectively cover the integration of AI in marketing, practical applications, team training, and future trends. To differentiate your article, consider focusing on a niche aspect of AI marketing strategies, such as ethical considerations, AI-driven customer journey mapping, or case studies of successful AI implementations or specific industries. Would you like to proceed to the next step? I said yes. Honestly, I could have provided it some guidance of what I thought was missing, but I just went ahead and said yes for the case of this example. And it actually gave me some angles that it would recommend taking in order to outrank them. It gave me 5 different angles to take. Here's the angles. It said, based on the top ranking articles, the search intent for AI marketing appears to be informational and action-oriented. Users are likely hoping for, and it gave me 5 different possible intents behind the search. This is where AI is really good at discerning what people are really looking for when they type in the search term. That's the key. That's the crux of SEO planning, is discerning what they really want. And so it gave me a number of different options, but the one I wanted that I thought, I'm like, this would be really interesting. It would stand out from the competition. And it would honestly be something I would want to see, I went with the second option, practical guidance, steps to deliver or implement an AI marketing strategy. Most people looking for an AI marketing strategy are looking for not just an overview, but practical steps for beginners. But you don't have to call out beginners. You can just say, hey, steps to develop this, like how to, So the hypothesis, he gave me a hypothesis, and I went ahead and I just gave it back the number 2, the second one, the practical guidance route. It then offered some title suggestions, or incorporating the key term in the titles. That's the one place you got to make sure it shows up. And I went through and looked at them all, and I'm like, hey, I like the second title best. How to build an AI marketing strategy that delivers results. Sounds very practical and stands apart from the other titles that are currently written. It went and then built the whole outline based on its insights of what people are looking for, based on what people are currently writing about. And based on that title, it went and created an outline that I've already given it instructions on the back end of this custom GPT on how to create good outlines. It created an outline for then to guide the writer in writing a blog post so that you're going to have a hit post. This is AI or SEO planning at its finest. And this process used to take a number of steps and a lot of thought and time went into planning each keyword out. Now it takes less than 60 seconds to do a thorough plan with a thorough outline in order to get this done. Now, you could then pass this over to another AI to write said content, but if you really want this to be a hit, humans still have to write this, because you still have to be able to draw from personal experience, pull real examples, and to really make this thing shine. But it's honestly, even if you did give this to an AI to write, this would still be a very solid, it would be a much better article having given it this title, this outline, and the rest of the intent that it now understands. But if you were just going to at least use this for guidance, it's going to be very strong and a very good way to start your SEO plans if you're currently still writing articles to rank on Google. Using it for planning is a solid way to go forward. But that's not it, right? Because we talked about 3 different ways to approach AI in your SEO efforts. The other one is AI content. Like I said, AI can then write this content. I will say that I've heard some great things from other SEO practitioners out there around AI generated content and how it can actually rank. I have not experienced this yet, but I am doing some tests. So let me show you a tool that I am currently using in testing to see how well it works. It's called WP Autoblog. I got it as an AppSumo deal, like a one-time fee. I think I paid a couple $100 to give me access to write a couple 100 articles a month with this thing. And it is a fun little tool that you can do some light keyword researches on. You can plan topic clusters, but most importantly, you can go ahead and schedule hundreds of articles for AI to knock out for you, and then it will automatically post to your WordPress site. So I have a number of different sites hooked up to this, and I am testing probably 3-4 different websites that I created from scratch to test to see how well it works. Because honestly, I don't even want to post it to Sanchez.com. I have it hooked up, but I haven't started posting AI content to that site yet because I don't know if it will help or like destroy the current rankings I have. So I don't want to get it mixed up. Hence the test. So I'm doing all kinds of tests. One test that I'm doing is allbibleverses.com, where I kind of like just duplicated Sanchez.com, the theme over, and just started blogging. And I didn't spend a lot of time making it look pretty. Like I kind of threw together a basic logo for it. And it's creating content about the Bible. I'm doing this topic because, again, remember my background is I created Just Disciple, so I know what ranks here. I know what works. I know there's a lot of people searching for biblical content around all kinds of different factors, around what the Bible says about this, verses about that, prayers on this. Like it's a thing, and it's not as much volume as there is people searching for it. It's not super competitive. So I have this just being filled up with articles, a couple a day, and I'm just letting that run on pure autopilot. Like I go in and check in on it every once in a while, and this has been going, and I'm still waiting for the rankings to come through. It takes a while for rankings to come through on Google with the new site, generally 6 to 8 months. So I'm still waiting to see how this test pans out. When I find out and start seeing results, I will share it with you and share the results of how it's going. The general rule of thumb with this is that the AI will not create great content. It will create okay content. But if you think about the long tail of ranking, you can throw out hundreds and hundreds of articles, find out kind of what hits and maybe what ranks on the first page ranks as number 7 or 8. And then you can come back in with the human touch and double it down on making those posts actually good to be competitive. But you're kind of essentially throwing out on autopilot hundreds of lines into the waters, figuring out which ones catch a fish, and then optimizing it to throw that one line back out with that particular bait, right? So this is kind of the approach that I've heard talked about in the SEO community, and one that I'm giving a shot myself when it comes to creating AI content for the sake of ranking on Google. But there's one last thing that you should be considering that I'm testing still myself. And we've talked about AI planning, we've talked about AI content, but let's talk about AI priming, right? Because search, AI planning and AI content, that's competing against what's currently working for search. But remember, search is changing. So how do we prepare for that, right? How do we prepare for AI search engines taking over the traditional search route of going to Google or Bing? Well, let's talk about that. That's what I'm starting to call AI priming. I'm sure that name will change. I'm throwing out something though, because it's no longer just SEO. It's not like manipulating the search engines to rank your article when the AI can read your article and just pull it up. So how can you change what are bottom of the funnel searches for things that you want to be found for in AI? I've already heard from some VPs of marketing that they're getting leads based on people doing research for certain types of tools, and then their company showing up in the results of the AI of what it's recommending of possible solutions. And that people are then going to Google to go find the company and then become a lead for it. That's AI priming. You're not just ranking, but you're actually being suggested by the AI as possible solutions. And that's something all companies need to be considering right now. Or what are the bottom of the funnel? Because top of the funnel is going to change. Top of the funnel is going away. People searching for how to do this, like how to do AI marketing. Like they're searching on Google for that now, but when they search AI for that and ask AI for an answer, AI is just going to tell them. They're not going to sort, and you're not going to have to go to any websites to source an answer for it. And even if they do, it's just barely like a little source tag in the AI results page. So what do you do when AI starts to deliver something else? Well, AI is still going to be useful for bottom of the funnel or for specific recommendations. For example, I've done this many times where I've said like, show me the best B2B podcasts, right? And look at this. It's pulled up a number of different podcast-specific solutions. This is where AI priming is going to be a big deal in SEO, because this is the future right here. People are all going to have their AI assistants, and they're going to be looking for solutions, local things, or answers to their problems. And sometimes Google, in specific instances like this one, I'm looking for specific recommendations. In this case, I'm looking for a podcast to listen to on B2B marketing. Look at that. B2B Growth shows up, that podcast that I used to host when I worked for Sweetfish. I know it showed up because it's like one of the first things I tested when ChatGPT came out 2 years ago, and it still ranks. But why does it rank? This is where I'm going to pull some anecdotal evidence of why B2B Growth ranks, even though it's not. There are many podcasts that should be on this list that aren't on this list that actually get more downloads and rank higher than B2B Growth in Apple Podcasts. It doesn't matter what they are, but I know that there are a number of ones that aren't listed and some that shouldn't be listed that are here that don't deserve to be here. But why are they here, right? This is what I'm calling now AI priming. If you do a normal search for B2B podcasts on Google, you'll notice that here, like B2B Growth, this is the new cover art, shows up in the search results and can be indexed here sometimes as a cover art on top. But oftentimes, if you go through all the things that are ranking, what is it? Oh, it's 30 plus, like, let me just look at the search results page, and it says, I see articles for 30 plus B2B marketing podcasts, the 2024 list. I see top 9 B2B marketing podcasts in 24, the top B2B marketing podcast for 2024, top 40 B2B podcasts to listen to. What are these? They're all Roundup posts. And these people who are sourcing these probably haven't listened to all of them, because listening to 30 plus episodes across the bunch of podcasts takes a lot of time. So they probably just round this list up from somewhere else and added a few more onto it and then gave a basic analysis of each one. That's how most of these articles are created. But if you go and look at these articles, let me go ahead and open them up here. Because B2B Growth was very early to the B2B podcast game, they show up on a number of different lists. Privacy, y'all. All right. And I know show up in this list of B2B marketing, right? I'm looking for B2B Growth now. Let's just go do a search for it. There it is. B2B Growth showed up on the first list. Does it show up on the second list? B2B growth. Oh, it didn't show up on the second website. I'll save you from the suspense. It shows up on a lot of these different websites. If I can spell. Oh, it doesn't show up on this one. But I've gone through and looked through a number of different websites before and in the past. B2B growth shows up for so many of these like roundup posts and from a number of authoritative content sites. And I can say that I think these roundup posts are influencing the AI search engines as they go through and do these for podcasts. They see it mentioned all over the place. So like even here in ChatGPT itself, you can check the sources for how it pulled the list. And you can go and check all the sources, and I guarantee you the ones that it's being recommended to you in this almost like search engine results page from AI is because these podcasts are being showed up frequently in these roundup posts. You can go and check it yourself. Do the search, B2B podcast, go and check the sources, and you'll see that B2B growth and these other ones are showing up a lot in these results. It's often similar to what is showing up in Google, but instead of it being relied on like actual ranking data from Spotify or from Apple, it's just using the amount of times these podcasts are mentioned in these roundup posts. And I think this is a big part of the future of what I'm calling AI priming. So right now I'm starting to focus more and more, even for AI marketing podcasts, I'm trying to show up in a lot of these roundup lists and talking to people about it and creating my own in order for when someone searches for AI marketing podcast, AI driven marketer shows up in the list, both in Google multiple times, but also in AI recommendations as AI and ChatGPT updates its sources. Because right now it's still based on information from a year ago, but if it's going and pulling fresh rankings from either Bing or its new search engine, it's going to be able to find my podcast on these roundups. So some other considerations for AI priming is what I'm calling the 3 R's of AI priming, and that is roundups, reviews, and rankings. All very similar, but I think this is going to matter a lot to essentially manipulate, it's kind of the negative way of putting it, but let's say marketing, persuading, to have your podcast, your products, your solutions, or whatever the heck else you want it recommending to users to actually consider you as a possible option for the AI's user as it's making recommendations for what they're searching for. So roundups are the easiest way to get started. Just pull together the top 10 or what you think are the top 10. If you want to go heavier, find ways to grab actual data to make it stronger. Have reviews, pull some of the reviews, do analysis of the reviews. For example, I could do analysis of the reviews of the top 10 podcasts on AI marketing to break down what people are saying, to bring some data to it. Or you can create ranking factors to rank them yourself. Maybe have a scoring system and how to score whatever the heck you're ranking so that, again, has at least the perception of being data-driven, even if you're making up the ranking factors and kind of cooking the books yourself. I don't recommend doing that in an unethical way. I'm just saying that there's ways, this is how this game is going to be played. There will be good actors actually throwing real data and doing a being thorough in their ranking factors and analysis. There will be bad actors manipulating the whole thing and just making it look authoritative. So you have to be careful of that. Try to pull good data and have real ranking factors and real research that drives these kinds of roundups or rankings or reviews post in an effort to prime AI to showcase your stuff. So that's it. That's where I'm currently at with SEO. Again, we talked about how to use AI marketing in your planning, how to use AI marketing in your content creation, how to use AI priming in order to show up for search engines now and when AI starts to take over the game in the future. Hopefully, getting a sense of what I'm doing as a marketer will help inform your own SEO plan in the near future.